Hey, what's up guys? So welcome to my tutorial on how to download and play Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2019 for free with all of the cards unlocked. We're going to be covering 3 separate different ways for you guys to play. All of these are 100% free, you don't have to pay for anything. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. First off though, there are 3 different programs that I will be showing you guys. And I want to showcase them off briefly. And then I will provide a download link also in the description box as well as the pinned comment for each one. One of them you don't have to download, but it's just a website that you go to. So what we're seeing is YGOPRO. For the sake of the video, we will call it YGOPRO 1, but this is YGOPROCY. But a lot of them are very similar as far as YGOPRO. But anyways, this is what it looks like. And you can type in any card if you want blue eyes. Whatever the case may be, you just literally click and drag it. You have access to every single card. Now this one is all automated. Going to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2, everything looks a lot more HD and much more clean. There's little animations when you move cards around. This one is the newest one, and it definitely looks really clean. Like I said, this one just looks much more advanced. There's a lot more things that you can do in the game to kind of make the game look 3D and stuff like that. And if you're really looking for the best looking one, I would say Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 definitely looks the best. However, if you have a really old laptop or something, it might not run the smoothest. So a lot of people do stick with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro for that reason. Now there's also a website that you guys can visit called DuelingBook. If any of you guys remember Dueling Network, which did get shut down, they basically brought it back, but it's called DuelingBook. This is actually owned by someone else, but it definitely is the exact same thing. In fact, there's actually a lot more features to this. Now, if you do want to play the speed duels, they also have that available. Speed duels would be similar to something like in Duel Links. You could still play the variant of speed duels on any of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro applications. They tend to be a little bit less popular as far as the population, but there are still people that do technically play. You guys can see the skills that you would obviously get in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. But again, all the cards are 100% free. You don't have to pay for anything, and you don't have to unlock anything. Everything is available. The thing that you will unlock in Dueling Book, though, is you'll have like a set amount of icons that you can select from, but it's really not that big of the deal. You can change your icons as you want to, but there's no pay to win at all in these games. So now that maybe you've seen each one, depending on what you like, you can kind of decide for yourself which one you would like to actually go ahead and play. So first off, as far as the applications go, the website, Dueling Book, is just the website. You will see, however, I will mention this real quick, that over on mine I put # align right. That basically shifts everything over instead of centering it, and that makes it a little bit easier for me since I do sometimes do live stream, and it just makes the screen much cleaner. But you can align it to the left, right, or you can just have it centered. But either way, it's just the website. So as far as downloading Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1 or Yu-Gi-Oh! YGOPRCY, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2, those you gotta visit the Discord group because it's much easier to actually track. Because they do sometimes update the links, as sometimes they do get removed and they do updates as well. So first off, I will put a link down below in the description box for both of the applications, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1 as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2. But first off, as far as the Discord group, you just go ahead and go to the welcome/download one, and you'll see you can download it over on Mac if you want to do it on Windows, or if you want to download it as a mobile game, you can feel free to do so. Now, in addition to that, of course, I did mention there is Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2, and that's going to be a separate Discord group. Again, I'll have that linked down below. Now, all of them you can pretty much customize the field, you can customize everything, but I'll get into that in a second because some of you guys will notice when you download the game, the background might be a little bit different, and sometimes as they update, the backgrounds might change, the music might change, but you can go ahead and customize that. But I do want to mention something that is kind of important for you guys if you want to download these applications and after you install them, but I gotta go ahead and go over the tutorial of that first before we get into settings that I think that you guys definitely need to know about, because there's a lot of card interactions that need to be in specific zones or certain things that you might want to actually check out. Plus, I also wanted to mention that there is support for anime and custom cards on Dueling Book, as well as, of course, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro applications 1 and 2 both have them. But if you really want the best custom card support, Dueling Book is probably the place to go because you can customize cards much easier without having to send files over Hamachi, and it's just much more complicated. So anyways, once you actually download, the actual application, you will see that there is a zip folder. All you have to do is, once you go ahead and download the application from, of course, the Discord group, all you gotta do is right click and then you'll just go extract to a folder. Once you extract it to that folder, go ahead and double click on it, open up the folder, and then just open up the file over here. I actually should have done over here, my bad, my cam was in the way. So all you gotta do is click on it and then click on the thing that says Yugioh Pro 2. Just double click on it and it will go ahead and open up this application and you'll be at the home screen. Of course, let me go ahead and just say no to saving the deck. But once you get to the home screen, you can click on, they'll give you a few decks to start off with, but you can see there's online duel, replays, deck edit, and of course your settings. There's a lot of settings in Yugioh Pro 2 that really make the game look very fancy. As you guys can see over here, there's so many options. There's background music. I just basically muted it via doing that, but you can definitely change the size, and you can go ahead and click on the online duel, and you can just go ahead and we can go to the room list. We're going to check the room, and we're just going to go ahead and just join that game. Let's go ahead and spectate, just so I can explain some of the things here in this, because it definitely looks a lot more different. This one does have a little timer, and it'll basically kick you if you don't start. But I just want to spectate this duel over here. So it looks like the duel will be starting. And you can see over in the bottom right, there's a lot of options here. Specifically going into the settings once the game actually starts. Sometimes it takes a second for people to connect. But this one definitely looks, again, the cleanest. You can change your icon here. And like, look at this, like you can, well, if this was my deck, I would be able to see the cards, but since I'm spectating, obviously it would be unfair. But you guys can see the cards, when they summon, there's like this 3D animation. If you guys don't like any of those things, feel free to go ahead and swap that out. Okay, this guy literally got Ash Blossom and he quit. Well, welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2019, where everyone likes to quit ASAP. One thing that I do want to mention that is a benefit to Yugioh Pro 2 is that the replays will never break, as in, when a card text or image or its ID, which is the number, gets changed, what happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, like Percy or even like Dawn of New Era, any of the applications that are basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1. Again, they're just called Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but I'm saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1 just so it's easier to track. Basically what it comes down to is the cards can change and then the replays won't work. One thing good with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 is that won't happen. So, anyways, yeah. You can change the settings if you don't like any of like the combat effects, as far as like the monster being summoned. You guys saw that it basically has like a transparent image of just like the monster card. Again, it looks very, very nice. And if you guys have played Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 in the past and maybe didn't like the self-updater, which was the biggest reason why most people didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2, is you had to manually update the game, which made you go to a website, download some RAR files, and then extract them. It's just much easier now because it's all self-automated. Now, speaking of self-automation, it's the same process from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Percy or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1, essentially. All you do is download the application, and all the images, like the actual file size is like 40 megs. It's like so small. But it will get larger as you download more images. You can see that sometimes when I'm scrolling through real fast, there'll be a card that like I've never seen this card before, so it didn't download the image. But again, look at the card's resolution. This is something that I kind of wanted to mention. This is kind of comparing Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1 and 2 because DuelingBook is kind of in its separate area. But you guys can see that the quality of the images, if I go to deck edit, it doesn't really matter what I click on, but you can see the quality of the card images as they're downloading over here. The card images is so good, you can literally read the text off of this, and to me, that looks much more clean. I personally do like this. Also, as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 goes, there's a lot more people around the world that would technically be using it because it's connecting to like another server. But the thing is, with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Percy, you'll find that it's more EU and NA, so there are people that speak English on either one. Sometimes you do like to talk to the player and ask them, what are what are your builds are for whatever deck. You'll have more interaction with the chat, at least I find with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Percy than I would with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2, and it definitely comes down to, of course, who's playing it. But another thing I wanted to mention that's very important is, regardless of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that you're playing, make sure you guys go into the settings. There's an auto monster card and an auto spell and trap zone. and certain cards need to be lined up, especially for link monsters. This is a very important thing. You actually want to make sure that they're unchecked, because if they are checked, it's going to place them in very specific areas. Pretty much just the middle is what it comes down to. And there's also options to mute your opponent. If you don't want to hear them like say anything when they're typing in the chat, you can definitely mute them as well. So that is one benefit. All the applications have it, I think, except for DuelingBook. There's no way you'd want to actually mute if you're trying to talk to your opponent. But again, there are lots of different ways to play. Like I mentioned before, there are custom cards. Hopefully I won't click on something that's really bad here, because then we get demonetized. So you guys can see these aren't real Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but people are making their own custom Yu-Gi-Oh cards on DuelingBook. Technically, you can do that in YGOPRO applications, but they are much, much more difficult. We got Ari from League of Legends here. But straight up, there's really cool and innovative ideas that are inside, of course, the ability to make your own custom cards. But you will have to argue with your opponents if you are going to DuelingBook, because there are so many people and there's so little amount of judges on this application, because all these are just made by the fans. Again, everything is free. You can play straight up Duel Links on here as well, but it tends to, again, be a little bit less popular. They have separate ban lists, so if you really want to play on a GOAT format, if you want to play traditional with, like, you know, Pot of Greed, or any of these cards that you normally can't play in regular Yu-Gi-Oh!, there is still more life in these types of duels on DuelingBook than anywhere else. You can play GOAT format, you can play previous formats on YGOPRO 2 as well as YGOPRO or any of these other applications, but they tend to be a little bit less popular. And again, if you're not able to go to a computer and actually download an application, then DuelingBook is probably the best way to go. But again, guys, that's how you download and play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online for free with, again, all of the cards unlocked. If a lot of times people ask me which one do I prefer, I think YGOPRO 2, like, I'll give you the benefits of each one. DuelingBook has the most fun memes, and then YGOPRO has, I would say, if you want to just test something out and find out what a new card does as soon as it comes out, I think YGOPRO is Percy is probably one of the fastest updating ones. With YGOPRO 2, it just really has that clean look to it. Like, it definitely looks like what I would consider a next-gen game. But you guys can go ahead and download the one that you want, and like I said, they're all free, and you'll have access to all the new cards pretty much as soon as they get announced. They'll be out here very, very soon. YGOPRO is like literally minutes from when they announce the new cards. It's crazy how fast they are. But anyways, yeah, like I said, you can still play other modes on these, but the other modes, like the GOAT format, they're just more popular on DuelingBook. If you want to match up against some scrubs and have some good memes, DuelingBook is definitely the place to go. But anyways, I'm actually kind of curious, since a lot of you guys are, well, I'm assuming most of you guys are from the channel previously watching this video, but if you guys are new, I want to know, like, maybe you downloaded all of them, which one did you guys like the most? And also, if you are a returning viewer, which application do you guys like the most? For me, I like them all. I honestly think there's strengths to all of them, and they're all free, so I don't see a problem with just having all of the applications. I know sometimes when a new card comes out on one of them, I remember before when I used to play DevPRO all the time, if a card came out on one application first, I would load up that application. But now YGOPRO is just so fast with the updates that it doesn't really matter too much. But sometimes one friend is on one, and that's where you're going to be playing. You can take that into consideration as well. But anyways, like I said, all the information and links will be down below in that description box if you guys would like to download them. Again, they're all free. There's not a sponsored video or anything. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helped you out, and if it did, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel and would like to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, feel free to go ahead and do so by hitting that subscribe button and turn on that bell so you can see when the latest videos are out. But thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. I'm signing out.